This video is sponsored and created in part by Bushiroad. Typically about 2 months before a set is released, we are given some card reveals. One of the most highly anticipated sets for Weiss Schwarz in English is the English exclusive set RWBY. The trial deck, supply set, and the booster packs for RWBY are going to be released on December 17th, 2021. It being early November, we haven't gotten any of the card reveals yet. We were given the product images for the booster boxes, the trial decks, and the supply sets, but no actual card effects. I'm doing this for the community. I'm going to be taking those cards. I mean, what are they going to do, stop me? And like any true American, I'm going to film my crime. So I headed over to the Bushiroad offices in Singapore, took as many cards from a box labeled RWBY, and I took the YouTube login as a just in case. Oh man, that was a lot easier than probably should have been, but we got our cards right here. So let's take a peek at what we got. I'm just gonna send them an email. 1 week later, they got back to me. The only stipulation is that I need to give them back the YouTube login, which I'm gonna do after this video is uploaded. So with that being said, let's look at some of the Yang cards from the English exclusive Weiss Schwarz set, RWBY. All of these cards are yellow characters and they have the Remnant and RWBY trait. Yang Framed states that if you have 2 or more other Remnant characters, this gains 1k power and on play from hand. You could pay 1, ditch a card, search your deck for a Remnant character, show your opponent, and add it to your hand. Lately, cards that we call drop searchers have been getting either secondary utilities or they've been getting pretty big. This is really big because as soon as you use the drop search effect, it's just gonna turn into a 2k5 vanilla, and I do like the new standard of drop searchers. This has a secondary utility and it's not just a single utility card. In this case, it's gonna be at 3k power. So you are gonna need play extenders in your deck. You can't just run stock swaps. Games don't work like that. We need to start with the basics first. Uniform Yang is a 1/1 2k backup, and her other effect states that when you use this card's backup, reveal the top card of your deck. If that is a Remnant character, add it to your hand, then you ditch a card. That's actually pretty solid. 2k is a nice buff, searchable with the Yang Framed, but why are you running this? It is because this lets you top check your deck. You use this during your opponent's turn to thin out your deck for higher potential cancels. Although because damage is still gonna go through, it's still gonna go to your clock, tower over your opponent with this 2k power. Yang, Warm Welcome, is a 2/2 character with 2 soul and a soul trigger icon that states if you have 2 or more other Remnant characters, this gains 3k power and character discard encore. That's not bad. It can go up to 10k power, and maybe there is going to be some extra back row support that could bump this up even more, but let's say your opponent reverses it, just bring it back. I don't like her smug face. It mocks me. So I did mention that this has a soul trigger icon, and that is because of our last card, Yang, Vital Festival. But before we go on with the card effect, let's talk about the art. The card on the left is the rare, and the card on the right is the set specific rare that is called RB rare. That is going to be gold foiled, a profile of the character, and it is hot stamped with the character's logo. Now onto the card effects. This card states that on play from hand, top check 3 cards from the top of your deck, add a card to your hand, and then you ditch the rest. And Climax combo, when falling into a trap is placed in your climax area, if this card is in your center stage, choose one of your other characters and that character gains the following ability for the turn. Once per turn, cancel burn 2. The climax is a 1k1 and a choice when triggered. Because you're playing choice, here's a valid target. But this is actually pretty decent. You cannot give itself the cancel burn, which is a downside, but this is free. It's when the climax is played, you give anything cancel burn. Speaking of the climax, that's a bad transition. This card's digging ability lets you grab the climax if you're missing it. You will most likely be swinging for exact damage depending on what you are going to be working with. As of now, this is the only level 3 that I am fully aware of, and you can give it to the 2/2, which you're still going to be swinging for 3 soul with the climax. That is pretty heavy, but cancel burn is always nice. So if your opponent is at 3/6, cancel. I dare you. And since you're going to be burning for 2, it's almost like you're not missing out on an attack. For a rare, this card is pretty solid. And there we have the first couple cards of RWBY. Again, this set is going to be released on December 17th, 2021 with trial decks, booster boxes, and supply sets. Support your local card shops this holiday seasons and buy a box for somebody, or hey, you know what? You can buy a box for yourself. Thank you all for watching, and thank you Weiss Schwarz for letting me make this video for them. I really do appreciate it, and I'll catch you all later.